Have you ever thought about where your produce comes from? Most grocery chains receive produce from various local and national farmers. In fact, there are about 3.4 million farmers in the United States today. But of that staggering number, only 45,000 are Black farmers. At the Better Buggy, we are a proud group of Atlanta-based Black-owned farmers, selling produce locally and nationwide. Our easy-to-navigate online platform makes it easy for you to make a one-time purchase or to simplify your life by subscribing to our weekly produce box. Whichever frequency you choose, you can order with confidence, knowing you'll receive 100% organic farm-fresh produce. If you're looking for a thoughtful gift for a loved one that they'd actually find useful, be sure to pop by our online store where you can snag a gift card your recipient can use to order their own produce and t-shirts. Ready to start supporting local Black-owned farms and making healthier food decisions? Visit thebetterbuggy.com now to start shopping.
Many of you might have seen the video of this real obese white man harassing his neighbor, a Black neighbor, and talking about, oh, well, and part of the video talking about, well, if you call the police, talking to Black people, if you call the police, they're not going to come and do anything. Okay. Well, he's been since charged, and he was so bold and so confident when the cops were there. He was still using the N-word, and he even stood there and gave out his address. Well, 150 Black people showed up at his door, and they are right now, as I speak, are picketing him. Okay. And they said the crowd is growing. He should have known better than to put himself out like that. So he pretty much doxed himself. You stood there while the video was rolling and told your address. He doxed himself, y'all. He doxed himself. Okay, so this is ABC Action News, Channel 6 out of Philly. So I'm going to play this updated video, and then we'll get into the story even more. And by the way, I know Mount Laurel real well. I used to work there. So I know that town really well.
Turn our attention now to a disgusting display that led to charges being filed against one South Jersey man and brought a community together in protest.
A large one, in fact. It all started with the video showing the 45-year-old Mount Laurel resident screaming racist slurs and threatening his neighbors on Friday. And the now viral clip, he called for people to show up at his home, and that is exactly what has happened.
Action News reporter George Solis live in that neighborhood with this developing story. George, let us know what you're learning about this.
Yeah, Gray and Sarah, this has been a very active scene here all morning and afternoon. Protesters have been growing by the hour. Many of them prepared to stay for the long haul. Many of them prepared with signs, many of them with chairs. Take a look behind you. You can see some of the activity here as they have staged outside of this man's home. This crowd has grown exponentially, especially as more people have watched this already viral video. Now, things have been peaceful, but there have been a few tense moments. Tensions and tempers flared Monday on Gramercy Way in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. The anger and outrage centered on this.
Back up. Keep backing up. Back up. Keep backing up. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
An explosive interaction between neighbors caught on video back on July 2nd is now part of a police investigation.
It's not Africa. Oh, this is not Somalia or wherever. I was born in America. So you know what common ground.
According to police, the man in the video in the green shirt is 45-year-old Edward Cagney Matthews.
This kid over here, both have videotape of you putting your hands on me.
Matthews now faces harassment and bias intimidation charges connected to the dispute that, according to neighbors, stem from months of issues with the development's HOA board, including this racial slur written on a board member's fence, and years of allegations of harassment of others. Allegations Matthew appeared to address in the video as he uses slur after racial slur.
And you want to know where I was when all this happened? I don't care. At work. I don't care where you were. At morgue. Just like I told the Mount Laurel police.
The tirade continued even as an officer showed up.
You know what? Hold on. No. I'm going to let you do your thing. Go talk to these.
Before the video ends, Matthew gave out his home address, seemingly encouraging protesters who arrived on cue. Matthews later came out to address the crowd, only to be ushered back inside his home.
We're not just going to let him harass people, especially black people. within this community or any community.
Jasmine Zazinski and her mother, Aaliyah Robinson, showed up to protests and claimed they too were victimized by Matthews in years past.
We have tried to get justice. And if we got justice, this wouldn't be happening now.
And again, a live look at the scene here in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Again, protesters coming in and out. This crowd only growing larger by the moment, it seems. Mount Laurel police said Matthews faces harassment and bias intimidation charges. It's unknown at this point if he's under investigation for any prior allegation. Now, the agency did put out a statement along with the information this afternoon saying they do not condone any of the behavior seen in that video. You're live in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. George Solis, Channel 6, Action News. Back to you.
All right, George, we'll stay on that for sure.
Okay, y'all. So Mount Laurel is the demographics of it. It's, it's like a lot of places. It has predominantly white people there, but there is still a lot of Black people also that live in Mount Laurel. Mount Laurel is one of those really built up places. When you go there, you'll see like a lot of hotels, you'll see a lot of businesses all over the place. Excuse me. Restaurants. It's really built up. Okay, it's real built up. In fact, it made national news back in the 80s. There was this one street in Mount Laurel where virtually everybody on the street got cancer. And they don't know why it happened on this one street and not anywhere else. So now no one lives on that street. It's completely cleared out. It was cleared out decades ago, but it had made national news just for all the people that were there, just died of cancer. So let's get to this story. Protest outside home of Mount Laurel man accused of racist tirade against neighbors. And apparently he's been doing this for quite some time. See, he's done it multiple times. You heard that Black woman at the end saying he did it to her too. And he got away with it. But this time around, so much of it was caught on tape, he's been charged. And remember, he thought the police were with him. You heard how he was just doing all that big talk. So this is July 5th, 2021. About 150 people held a protest Monday afternoon outside a home of can you believe he's 45 years old? I thought he was way older than that, but he's 45 years old, who was seen on social media making profane and racist tirade, apparently against one of his neighbors in a condominium subdivision in New Jersey. The police said Edward Matthews, that's his name, has been charged with harassment and bias intimidation. He was released, and word got out about the racist and offensive language that he has been accused of using against one of his Black neighbors. A pair of police officers guarded his house at the corner of Coventry and Gramercy Way in Mount Laurel as the protesters appeared in front of his home. So they said it is growing and growing, the crowd. Protesters were peaceful as they were carrying Black Lives Matter signs and flags during the mid-afternoon protest on Matthews' front lawn. So, So they let him know racists are not welcomed. You come out here and you feel like you can do anything. This is what one of the protesters are saying. You make terroristic threats and you feel like we're not going to do nothing. You're not going to touch that man. You're not going to touch that man's family. That's why we're out here. So this is what they're saying to this white man. Now he's in his house with all of this going on. Now you saw at one point he tried to come outside to address the crowd, and the cop made him turn around and go back in the house. Demonstrator, and I think this is Aaliyah Robinson, that was the woman at the end, said Matthews have been trying to intimidate Black residents for years. See, he's been doing this all along, and the police failed to do their job. That really, at the end of the day, that's what it is. They didn't do their job and handle him when the complaints were coming in. They didn't do nothing to him. So, of course, he started feeling, well, hey, the cops they ain't gonna come out here and do nothing because Black people said something. They're gonna listen to me, not you. Yeah, okay. Now you got that big Black crowd in front of your house. Let's see all that tough talk now. He's targeting the Black Association members now, Robinson said. He want us, I guess, to go back to Africa, go back to our country. You're targeting the higher ups because they can't have leadership positions. This is crazy, Robinson said. Neighbors complained that their complaints about Matthews have fallen on deaf ears for years. So he's been doing this for years in that complex. Robinson said Matthews vandalized her daughter's car years ago, but he was never held accountable. So this is, again, cops failing to do their jobs. When the complaints were coming in about this dude, they failed to do their job. Racism has to be rooted out. And when you see it, call it out, she said. I don't care what color it is. As Americans, we should not tolerate this. Not for a moment. Not for 3.5 years. That's for sure. Police said that as of mid-afternoon, there have been no arrests, and mostly the protesters there were letting him know they don't like that kind of attitude in their neighborhood. Now, you would think a man that have a problem with Black people wouldn't be living all around Black people like that, but he is. Woo! Authorities shut down roads in the area as the protests grew. Mount Laurel Police Department said it does not tolerate hate or bias, intimidation in any form. Yeah, well, y'all looked the other way when those folks were complaining. The only reason why y'all coming out, Mount Laurel Police is coming out with this statement, is because he finally got caught on video and it made the news. So now they're going to come in and act like, oh, we don't tolerate. Yes, you do. You tolerate it every day. They call this type of behavior totally unacceptable and said racist incidents would be thoroughly investigated. Yeah, because it made the news, y'all. That's the biggest reason why now, the cops want to come in and act like, the heroes in the whole thing, because it made the media. That's a damn shame that the people in that condominium complex been putting up with this crap for years, been calling the police, been trying to report it to the association, and all this time they have been ignored. And this man has been nothing but a terrorist up in there. That's all. He's terrorizing everybody that's Black that lives up in there. Okay, so what are you trying to accomplish? You trying to force them out? Well, apparently they didn't leave. At the end of the day, I bet you your ass will be out of there before them. He should never have messed with Black people in South Jersey, boy. Big mistake. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.